Hey folks, this is Riker with a gaming news wrap-up video where we discuss the happenings of the week. This week's topics include Microsoft backpedaling on its open war on the FTC, bad news for Ubisoft, news about Diablo 3 and Diablo 2's next seasons, and more. As always, discussion timestamps can be found in the description below. But right before you skip ahead, just a quick reminder to ring that sub notification bell to be alerted to new Saturday episodes and stay up to date with gaming news highlights. But before we move on, just a quick word from this video's sponsor, Squarespace. I built my website, Riker.com, using Squarespace, and I was able to do everything myself, quickly and easily, and with zero education in the field, all thanks to how easy Squarespace is to work with. Watch how easily I update the Diablo 4 section of my website to include all my video coverage of the latest updates and hands-on previews. Squarespace is flexible for any kind of website, whether for your business or your hobby, with tons of templates that you can easily customize to your needs, no knowledge of coding required. You can even connect your social media profiles to automatically push website content to your socials, set up members-only areas with exclusive content, and sell products. Basically, if you want to build a website, I recommend Squarespace. So, head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Riker and use code Riker to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/RHYKKER and use code Riker to get started today. Starting with some quick Mechwarrior news. A new Mechwarrior game is in development, though it won't be officially announced until later this year, maybe September or later. Speaking on the podcast No Guts, No Galaxy, the president of Mechwarrior 5 developer Piranha Games said that the studio is working on a new standalone title in the series. He says the game experience will be similar to Mechwarrior 5 and not Mechwarrior Online. It won't be an online PvP game. It'll follow more of a single-player or co-op type of pathway. Now, I always loved Mechwarrior as a kid. Giant robots with missiles and lasers, guns blowing the hell out of each other. It was always hard for me to resist the temptation to just alpha strike, just press all the buttons, fire all the missiles, all the bullets, all the lasers, all at the same time. Generally not a winning move though. In some Ubisoft news, Skull and Bones has been delayed. Again. The game first began development in 2013, was revealed at E3 2017 and slated for a 2018 launch. Then it was delayed to 2019, then to 2020, then 2021, then 2022, with a firm release date of November 8th, 2022. Then in September, the game was delayed to March 2023, and now it was just announced that it'll release sometime before early 2024. So, see you folks next year for the next annual delay announcement. This time though, the delay to Skull and Bones isn't just business as usual, but rather indicative of deeper problems at Ubisoft. In a statement, Ubisoft said that they have decided to cancel 3 unannounced projects on top of the 4 already announced to be cancelled last July. So that's 7 games in less than 1 fiscal year that have been cancelled. And they're also looking to cut their expenses by the equivalent of $215 million over the next 2 years. The company's share price is about a fifth of what it was at its peak 5 years ago. And back then, Vivendi wanted to buy Ubisoft, but Ubisoft's founders wanted to remain independent. Now, with its share price having halved in just the last 6 months, I bet those buyout offers are looking a lot more enticing. Now, Ubisoft blames this downturn on factors entirely outside of its control. Economic conditions like inflation, shifts in the market dynamics of the industry, for instance, and they're expressing disappointment over why some of their recent titles, which received good reviews, were not commercial successes for them. I do think, however, a big part of things may be the company's struggle to actually release games over the past couple of years, but that's just a theory. In an update on the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, Microsoft has run a full-page ad in the Washington Post about how it is pro-union. It did this in collaboration with the CWA, the Communication Workers of America, which is the largest communications and labor union in the US. Now, this comes a week after Microsoft formally recognized the union forming within ZeniMax, which it owns, rather than trying to fight the union. And remember how we said in last week's video that Microsoft was fighting back against the FTC because the FTC was challenging their acquisition of Activision Blizzard? Microsoft fought back by calling the FTC's courts and basically entire existence unconstitutional? Well, it's apparently decided that it's easier to catch flies with honey than vinegar, and has softened its approach by stating in the ad, quote, "We aren't asking the FTC to ignore competition concerns. On the contrary, we believe it's important to explore solutions that protect competition and consumers while also promoting the needs of workers, economic growth, and American innovation. We believe this is the spirit that led Congress to establish the FTC in 1914. Now, the FTC is based in Washington, D.C. Local government employees will often read the Washington Post, thus Microsoft's targeted ad to appeal to the individuals on the FTC or their friends and family who may be able to influence them. So basically, hey guys, we're trying to do good for workers and the industry. We're backed by the CWA, so let us do more good, please. Now, in addition to the ad, Microsoft has updated its official filing to remove the statements claiming the FTC is unconstitutional, so it's really walking back on that aggressive approach. Now, as a reminder, if Microsoft and the FTC don't settle before then, they'll be going to court in August, and the acquisition of Activision Blizzard will be delayed because of it. Meanwhile, in Activision Blizzard news, while Microsoft supports unions, or is at least neutral towards them, Activision Blizzard is refusing to acknowledge the new union being formed at Substudio Proletariat, who are assigned to work on World of Warcraft. And this means that the union has to now go through a formal vote with the National Labor Relations Board, even though a supermajority of the affected workers signed union cards to express a desire to form a union. Again, compare this with what Microsoft did with a union forming at ZeniMax. They voluntarily recognized the union without needing to go through the National Labor Relations Board. Then in some quick last Epoch news, Maxroll.gg quietly announced that it will be covering the upcoming ARPG, with its Last Epoch branch launching in the first quarter of this year. Last Epoch's multiplayer test is set to begin soon, and it seems Maxroll is positioning itself to be able to provide guides and resources in time for that. Maxroll also launched its Torchlight Infinite branch this week, as the game's second season kicked off. Season 2 of Torchlight Infinite is called Black Sail and brings a pirate-themed season mechanic in which you'll have to face the Lord of the Void Sea and his crew of minions. And it's by facing off against these pirates that you can find new hero items as rewards. These are additional itemization slots with affixes specific to your hero. Season 2 also brings a new hero to play, Erica, a cat girl who is an agile ninja-like character that I've been having a lot of fun playing. Her unique mechanic revolves around mobility. You need to move and reposition yourself a lot with this build to gain a movement speed buff. And then you gain a damage buff that scales based on your overall movement speed. The patch also brings 2 new hero traits, which are basically new versions of existing heroes that have new playstyles. So one is for Commander Moto, the summoner character. His new hero trait focuses on self-destructing minions. And then Rayhan, the barbarian character, gets a trait that summons an ancestral spirit that uses main skills to fight behind you and protect you. The new season also brings new skills, new legendary gear, new pact spirits, balance changes, and more. Oh, and also controller support, a feature many people have been asking for. At season launch, I participated in a race to beat the Time Mark 6 Traveler boss against 5 other streamers, and I'll have an upcoming video talking about how that went. In some Diablo news, we got a brief update from global community lead Adam Fletcher on upcoming news for Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 Resurrected. On Reddit, he posted that for D2R, we are expecting ladder reset for Season 3 to begin sometime mid-February, and for D3, we can expect PTR to launch towards the end of January with a blog on patch notes a little before the PTR goes live. More info will come on both accounts in the coming weeks. And in some lighter Diablo news, or heavier if we're talking about calories, Blizzard is apparently running some form of promotion in Japan with Burger King. Redditors Cooking Boy and Super Beef 4, very appropriate names, shared these pics of a Lilith spicy tomato double whopper with cheese, this butcher double meat barbecue cheeseburger with beef and chicken, and this Diablo garlic double cheeseburger. Ah, fresh meat. I'm really intrigued by the beef and chicken burger. I've never had a burger with 2 meats like that before. It's a shame we don't get these types of cool cross promotions over here, but on the off chance that I do get something like this happen locally, you can rest assured that you will see my food review vlog about it. And that's gonna wrap up this week's video. But do be sure to have checked out last week's video in which we discussed how Blizzard pays its employees less than the competition. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider pledging on YouTube or Patreon, and unlocking behind-the-scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more gaming content.